Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Kern County Raceway Park for the penultimate round in the American Sim Racer O'Reilly Series this season. Just 2 weeks until we crown a champion at Homestead Miami Speedway, and with 4 drivers covered by less than 10 points, who knows where the next 2 weeks are going to go. It's a short track here this week at Kern County Raceway Park. Just a half-mile round here. It means we've got 250 laps on the agenda for us here tonight. As always, the usual format of now 5 sets of tyres for the O'Reillys, along with 65% fuel and no fast repair these days for the O'Reilly Series. Great to be along with you on a Thursday night here on Motormap Broadcasting once again with the American Sim Racer League. It's Ewan O'Leary here alongside Sega up actually for this round of the championship. Good to have you alongside me at Sega. We're just coming up towards the end of qualifying at the moment, and this is one of the weeks where we split off from the truck series that we normally cover on Tuesday nights. On every week apart from 2 in this season, we've been doing the same tracks on every week, but the trucks were at Bristol earlier this week on Tuesday. The O'Reilly Series is at Kern County Raceway Park, so a little bit different. It's great to have you alongside me though for this one. Short track racing is always entertaining, so this is sure going to be an exciting 250 laps.
Well, this is right up our alley from kind of what we saw earlier on in the week with the truck series, going to another short track combo as well, where we saw trucks get a little, feisty out there. We saw fewer cautions than were expected throughout the evening, and I kind of expect a little bit more of the same throughout this session as well. Fewer cautions than we expect, and the drivers being well equipped to go 2-3 wide throughout some of these heavy bank sections.
Yeah, indeed. The banking round here, not the steepest in the world, 12 to 14 degrees of banking. Or, I suppose I'm not saying that because we're coming off the back of Bristol from Tuesday. But, yeah, on the straights, 8 degrees as well. It's a real short track, really. The ARCA series, really, is the only of the main series. The ARCA Menards Series West is the only one that's been here, really. Every year since 2013, apart from 2021, they've had a race here. So it's a fairly well-used circuit at this stage, but it only broke ground and opened, I should say, in May of 2013, so has a very, very short lifespan so far. We're just coming towards the end of qualifying, so just before we do get there, I'll tell you about the championship standings, which has Thomas Stokes now at the top of them. 3 victories to his name. He's got 6 points over Ryan Wayne, who moved ahead of Brad Compton, who was knocked off the top of the standings last week. Compton down to 3rd. Todd Lawson is still 4th. He's 9 points behind. Jackson Albright is the last of the drivers who's got a realistic chance, but even he's quite a long way back now, 22 points back. Kevin Nerat, 27 back. Frank Marchese, 30 points back. And then Brandon Biggs, 41 back. The last of the actual mathematical contenders. Jason Trocky's into the top 10 after last week's result, and Patrick Millett and Hal Peoples are tied for 10th in the back end of the top 10 there. So that's how we stand. As I say, 250 laps here for us tonight. Let's have a look at the starting grid ready for the Vitz Medals 250 from Kern County Raceway Park here tonight. Kevin Nerat has taken the pole here ahead of Ryan Wayne, one of those big championship contenders, getting a front row start. As does Todd Slauson. Well, he's on the second row, I should say, along with the points leader, Thomas Stokes. Jamel Love, who had a great run on Tuesday, starts from 5th, ahead of Brandon Biggs. John Russo and Brad Compton, who was knocked off the top of the points lead last week, starts from 8th. Jason McCook and Frank Marchese then round out the top 10. 2 big names in the ASL series. Jackson Pohl and Jackson Albright will share row 6. They've been doing that quite a lot recently. Jason Trockey and Josh Wise were the last drivers to set qualifying times on row 7. And Thomas McLaughlin, Kevin Page, James Burns and Patrick Millett all failing to set any times in this 18-car grid here tonight. It's a nicely formed grid here, Sega. It's many of the names that we also see on the Tuesdays as well, but also we're in the O'Reillys instead, and we're at a different racetrack as well. I must say, I've never commentated on a race around here before. I've never seen this track before. And as I say, it only broke ground in 2013 when it first started to host ARCA Series racing. But it's short track racing, so it is sure to be entertaining, especially at this end of the season where there's still 4 drivers covered by less than 10 points.
Mathematically, it's still possible for a lot of drivers to get their chance to win this championship. And that leads to exciting changes and challenges for the drivers. Do you attack early? Do you go for the late stage run? What is your plan of attack? So drivers are equipped with a little bit more tact than they perhaps would normally run in a NASCAR race, where they might be short-sighted with their goals, stages, stage breaks, stage points being awarded. None of that here at the American Sim Racer O'Reilly Series Championship. We're going to run straight 250 all the way to the end.
Indeed. And it's going to be potentially a long night of racing. We'll wait and see. No stages in this series, to remind you, if you've not seen it before. And so we're racing all the way through. But surely there will be cautions throughout the day. And just see how short this racetrack is, and just how sort of not quite, a little bit sort of rough around the edges in some ways, which is a good thing, I think, for a short track. And we'll see how it races, though, as we go on here with this half-mile racetrack in a moment. Kevin Nerett will be in control of the field. When the pace truck pulls in, it will go round for one more lap time. You can see the pit entry there on the left-hand side. Last week, as we were going through the Truck Series and the O'Reilly Series, we were at Texas. That was a very difficult circuit to get into the pit lane of. Shouldn't be the same problems here today. It's a very small pit lane, though, and even with this relatively small field, they're filling up most of the pit boxes throughout today. So there you go. It's going to be busy down there if we get cautions throughout the day, which surely we will. 17 will look to make the start here. Patrick Millett is seemingly not taking the start here, or at least he isn't taking the green flag with everybody else. In any case, it's a nicely formed field here, ready for 250 laps at Kern County Raceway Park. 2 weeks to go in the American Sim Racer O'Reilly Series for this season, and we're underway. Short track racing in California.
39 of Ryan Wayne got the jump start there on the number 16 of Kevin Nerett, able to get the jump start and get 2 car lengths ahead. Further back, it's going to be Chasen McCook trickling down the order. 2 positions lost to Albright and Frank the Tank.
He's in the mid-pack there, Frank Marchese, currently moving up 2 places. And he's on the outside there of John Russo in the 58. You can see him up high at the moment in the 24, and he does now get clear, looking to get to that low side, and that seems to be the place to be early on. Oh, Russo there got really loose on the way in, and he might well have no, he hasn't spun round, sorry, he's just running slowly on the inside of the turn. Not a good start for Russo. He goes to the back.
Let's check out Frank the Tank and Brad Compton as they're going to tussle every single turn. They're going to go side by side. Looking further back, Jackson Albright is just watching and waiting for his opportunity to strike. He's already up 3 positions on the good. Frank, look at that send through the middle all the way up to the high line, but the caution comes out as the Vulture has crashed.
Yeah, Kevin Page and Jackson Pole has also been involved in that one. Let's see how it happened. Yeah, I thought that was pace lap. It's just slow motion. That was quite rude. That was Jackson Pole getting turned there by Kevin Page, who I think, it obviously wasn't intentional anyway, but he came to a dead stop there, did Kevin Page, immediately, as if to say, that's on me, I apologise, you can go back ahead. He actually wasn't able to do that before the caution came out, so he's going to have to do that on a restart or whatever, but it looked like he ran straight into him there, and as I say, didn't look like he meant that by any means, because he looked as if he came to a stop as if almost to apologise to Jackson Pole for spinning him out there.
And that's a very sports car thing to do, isn't it, Ewan? Typically, you see that in sports car racing on a road track. It's very seldomly seen on oval racing, so hats off to the driver there for, seeing the damage done and trying to get back onto the racetrack with their fellow driver at the same time. But unfortunately, the caution was called, and Jackson Pole is back out of pit lane currently. Kevin the Vulture Page are in 16th position, still sitting on the lead lap.
Early set of tyres looks like being used from Jackson Pole there. No fast repairs in this series, don't forget, so any repairs that you have to do are going to have to be done the old-fashioned way, and that's no mean feat here at this racetrack. It's just like what we saw at Bristol on Tuesday. Very hard to actually do your repairs, then stay on the lead lap as well. You do often have to sacrifice maybe a lap or 2 or more around here if you're looking to actually make repairs, but Jackson Pole able to do that without losing a lap on this occasion. And 5 sets of tyres to do the 250 laps, so that's easy maths, isn't it? 50 laps per tyre set, if you like, which they'll be looking at tonight. So no chance of pit stops this time round, but it was a mostly clean start other than that incident there for Jackson Pole getting spun out on Kevin Page. Yeah, it was a mostly clean start for these guys. Let's hope for more of the same here, and maybe a longer green flag run. I think those might be difficult to come by early on tonight at Kern County, but maybe we can be proved wrong. Let's wait and see as the pace truck pulls down pit lane. That very early pit wall, I've got to say, sort of halfway round 3 and 4. Ryan Wayne in control of the field this time. He took the lead from Kevin Nerott last time, and it's Nerott on the outside who gets the good jump this time round as the field is brought back to green. There goes Nerott, the pole sitter, just going a little bit too high. And Ryan Wayne holds firm on the inside, but here comes Nerott on the backstretch.
Nerott with a leap of faith around the outside, made that one stick. Now Thomas Stokes, our championship contender in the number 71, trying to drive that Chevy with the number 39 along the inside. Ryan Wayne wasn't too keen about giving that one up for free. On the inside line, he tried to defend as best as possible. Here's Jamel Love, one of the fan favorites out there tonight, driving in 5th position.
That, by the way, down on the apron there was Patrick Millett getting into the race. He's going to be at least 9 laps down, and unfortunately wasn't able to take the start with everybody else, but he is at least in the race. Here's 3 and 4 again. Jackson Albright down the inside, up to 6th place and up 6 places. So he's maybe making a late charge. As I say, it's unlikely that he's going to be involved in the championship. Realistically, he's 22 points behind. Needs to gain a little bit more last week compared to the week before, but there he is making places. And especially since the restart from the caution, he's been pretty much gaining a position a lap until this last one here.
Not too shabby of a run. If he can keep up this charge, he'll definitely find himself in the top 5, if not finding himself on top of a podium this evening, which would be a very good opportunity for someone that qualified down in 12th position at the end of the day. Around these short tracks, every 10th matters, every fraction of a 10th matters. Speaking of that, Todd Swalson is getting swallowed up by Jamel Love, who takes advantage of the open door, and that Doritos machine is getting swallowed up by another Jackson Albright.
Yeah, look at this. Albright again having a very good run here, and Todd Slauson is going backwards. You wonder whether this is because he's taking it a little bit more cautiously early on, and he's going to really work his way into this and take care of his tyres early on, and then come into the race properly, or whether this is just struggling at the moment on a long run from the 44. No, it's not quite a long run yet. We've not yet done 10 laps under green in this run, but he does seem to be struggling, although Albright doesn't seem to be definitively getting himself through yet either. Slauson fights back, and he is going to hold on to that top 5 position in the end.
Here's Frank Marchese and Joshua Wise going wheel to wheel as well. Frank the Tank only up 1 position, but he's a slow burner, Frank is. So he'll be charging through the field slowly and steadily, avoiding any incidents that take place in front of him. And just as I say that, Frank gets hip checked down to the apron, and we won't even get a caution for this.
No, he's down below the apron. And I wonder whether he might well throw in the towel for this. Let's see. He's trying to, I think, oh, yeah, there we go. I think he was almost trying to cause one there, and he has gone a lap down anyway. So he might have just trapped himself a lap down. He'll hope that that's not the case. But I think the way that he came back on the racetrack there meant that there was a caution. It probably should have been one anyway. It's one of the quirks with iRacing that if you're below the apron, you don't get a yellow, even if you spun round. As you say, it was just a hip check, really. It's difficult to really tell where to point the finger, but it's very similar to the incidents that Frank was involved in on Tuesday. See, he does get up into the guy on the outside there a little bit. I'm trying to work out who that is. It's Josh Wise, isn't it? Sorry, yeah, 51. I thought it was the 51. But yeah, it's, I say, very similar to the incidents Frank was experiencing on Tuesday, and he was very unhappy at the end of Tuesday's race about how that race had transpired. This is only going to add to his anger at the moment, I suspect.
It's hard to tell, like you always say as a commentator. I'm glad I don't have to be a steward and call these incidences or pass judgment on them, because they're just so hard to tell sometimes. We're splitting hairs on who came up and who came down. Most of the time, it's two people coming together and heads colliding, right, Ewan?
Yeah, well, exactly, yeah. It can be a racing incident, absolutely. So, I think Frank was pretty unlucky on Tuesday, actually, in the incidents that he was experiencing. I think that one might be more on him than the ones on Tuesday were, but probably a racing incident in all. You do see this kind of thing at short track racing. Frank Marchese is going to the back of the field now, though, because he is a lap down here. So that could trap him. If there isn't a caution before other people start to get lapped and so on, then he could be in a little bit of trouble, could Frank, if that free pass is taken away from him. He'll hope for a quick caution here and a free pass back onto the lead lap.
Thankfully for him, Patrick Millette is more than a handful of laps down currently, running around 8 laps down, so he's not going to be in contention for a lucky dog anytime soon.
Well, indeed. I mean, he would have got one on the previous caution, I think. But that will be it now, I would have thought. If you're the first one a lap down, doesn't matter if you're 9 down or whatever it was. Yeah. I think he's 8 down now. Then he'll still get one back. But well, I mean, you do the maths. That's quite a lot of cautions that you need if you're 9 laps down. Anyway, here comes another restart. This time Kevin Nerat again, looking to restart for the first time since he got this race underway 22 laps ago. Green flag back out in California. And Kevin Nerat does indeed get back to this race lead, get back into control of this race at Kern County Raceway Park.
Nerat leads Stokes, and Jamel Love finds his way up into P3, but just for a blink of a moment, as it looks like the 39 of Ryan Wayne is there to challenge back for his potential podium tonight.
Indeed. Side by side for the lead. A dive to the inside from Stokes. Or to the outside, I should say. He's got his bonus point secured. He's led a lap tonight. And Brian Wayne has as well. So those two are even. Stevens, outside line for Thomas Stokes. It's a good run. Jamel Love thought he had the space there on the outside. He smashes the outside wall. Wayne slows to try and not get involved. And Jackson Albright tries to get down the inside and follow through here. He can't quite do it. He's looking to the inside again, is Albright. He can't quite do it. Wayne is able to hold on. That was a big, big hit on the wall for Jamel Love.
That really was, and I'm surprised he didn't lose out more time than just that. Perhaps the time will wane over his entire stint rather than affect him immediately. We'll see how his steering looks pretty good right now, so not too much suspension damage. Oh no, his steering is knackered.
I mean, they never put it direct center normally anyway in stock cars, but I mean, I'd be surprised if they... Yeah, surprised if he put it that far to the left there. So, yeah, that's going to be... And again, no faster pair in this series. You can't just get it done easily. You've got to try and do this under caution, really, and hope that you've not got too many optional seconds. So far, though, it doesn't seem to be slowing him down too much, which is extraordinary considering how hard the hit was.
It was a huge hit. That's why I suspected the suspension damage on that right side, excuse me. But no, it doesn't seem to be the case. It's not affecting his time. Last time by 19.29, faster than the driver ahead, but slower than the leader of Thomas Stokes right now, and he's making advantage of that time he's gained around the outside. He tries to look around the outside of Kevin Nerat, then in the number 16. But another hit to the wall for Jamel Love.
Dear, oh dear. There's not going to be much of that right side left if he's not too careful here, as he keeps smacking the wall off of turn 2. It's just, I guess, a legacy of the different ends of this racetrack, I suppose. If you notice, and you will have been noticing so far, the backstretch is dead straight, and there's the sort of hard wall, if you like. It's a sharp wall on the outside there. The front stretch is a sort of a longer curve. You can see here from these onboard shots, and well, from everywhere really. It's just a longer curve, so only very slight. But it's just a little bit of a curve on the front straight, whereas turn 2 wall is much harder, and you get dead, it's dead straight on the back straight, although it's a very, very short back straight here at a half-mile racetrack. So it's much easier to hit the turn 2 wall. And Gemma Love has been caught out by that twice already here.
Here's Slauson in that 44. We've seen him contest for positions earlier. This time it'll be with Josh Wise that he loses out to. And Josh Wise is on a charge, up 8 positions on this game. The 51 looking pretty stout tonight.
Indeed. It's just, you always like to see a driver steadily making their way through the field. After a lowly start, he was the worst of the qualifiers, was Josh Wise, the 14 qualifiers of tonight's race. 4 non-qualifiers starting tonight, and they're all still in the race after 34 laps. Look at this for the lead, meantime. A look to the inside from Love, undeterred by the contact he's had with the wall. He's gone to the inside of Kevin Nera, and there's a little bit of a touch between those two. In the one car on the inside, Gemma Love looks like he's going to get himself through here, or is he? He is just about going to squeeze through, is Love, and that's nicely done over the pole sitter Kevin Nera.
Wow, what a move there to cover it off at the end, too. I thought that was going to end in a tank slapper for Jamel Love, but he kept control of that car beneath him. That Chevy is doing all right in my book. 1, 2, 3, all the same manufacturer, though. The first of the Toyotas being Ryan Wayne, the number 39, down in 4th, but again, we don't know what the drivers are going to pull up their or have up their sleeves tonight as far as strategy is concerned. We saw a very interesting one on Tuesday night. A couple of drivers going for that long run stint, a couple drivers going for the 30-30, 30 stints, splitting that one down into thirds. Oh my goodness, Jamel Love with a big save. Unbelievably, he only loses 1 position, still gets to contest with Ryan Wayne at the end of the day for P3.
And there's a caution. It was not, I don't know who it is for. It might be for Thomas McLaughlin, who's had trouble here, but that was a massive save from Jamel Love there. Well caught, very well caught indeed. Let's see what happened, though, further behind to bring out this 3rd caution of the night. Is loose on the way in for the 81, saves it once. It's like what happened to Love, really. Gets on the power again off of turn 4. Or was that turn 2, sorry? He does, yeah. And there you go, spins as... oh, no, that is turn 4. I was right the first
turn
time.
4, yeah.
It's not below the apron, though. It's on the racetrack, and that has brought out the 3rd caution of the day. Now, only stop of that caution on lap 40 is Brad Compton. Mentioned it earlier, but we've got 5 sets of tyres total for the drivers today, and that means that you've effectively got 1 per every 50 laps. Well, as I say, we've only done 40 so far, and one of the big championship contenders, Brad Compton, is in. He's pretty much the only one who's in.
Thomas McLaughlin and Kevin the Vulture are in as well, but I suspect they're getting damage repaired from their earlier incidences, so just taking advantage. Jamel Love comes in, and that'll be an interesting call from one of the leaders of these packs to make the first green flag pit stop.
There'll be damage, I suspect, that he'll be thinking about here. We'll see whether he actually takes the 4 tyres or not, but he's probably going to spend as long as possible trying to repair the car as well. He does go up on the... I suppose he might as well. If you're going to go to the back, you might as well take the tyres as well. Fuel's not too much of a concern around here, by the way. Thanks to Jason McCook for letting us know that it's a 90-lap run we're expecting at the absolute maximum here today. If anybody does a 90-lap run, I'll be very, very surprised. Here is the stop, though, for Love. It's going up towards 30 seconds now. Tom McLaughlin spent 45 seconds in the lane. He's accepted going a lap down for that. He's just made sure that he's not going to go 2 down. Jamel Love not even able to get 30 seconds in before he has to get back out on the racetrack to stay on the lead lap again.
Jamel Love, now blinking in and out of existence, gets back out onto the racetrack and will be on lap 41. Right in front of the leaders. Will he be able to catch up to the back of the pack is the question.
Yeah, it's going to be quite close. Frank Marchese, by the way, is back on the lead lap, and he'll be wondering whether he catches up as well, because Frank Marchese needs to start at the very back of the entire field, which always makes things difficult for the free pass drivers. It's a bit of a mess down there. Meantime, Green flag back in the air. Just about 6 laps short of 50 laps where we're likely to see lots of pit stops, if indeed we get a caution around that time. That's a bad restart for the pole sitter Kevin Nerat, who goes way up the racetrack in the 16, and there's trouble. Trouble in the background, and Brandon Biggs is spun round. Frank Marchese looks to maybe be delayed slightly. Jamel Love has actually almost come down pit lane accidentally, and Brandon Biggs toes back to pit lane. Big crash on the backstretch.
Let's see what happens here to the 23. Brandon Biggs going into trouble. The 52 tries to look around the outside. That'll be Jackson Pole. And what happens there, Ewan?
Well, I don't think Biggs really expected or saw Jackson Pole there at all. Try to see why Frank Marchese dropped a place or two. Maybe it was just a quirk of the timing screen. I don't think he was involved at all, actually, in the end. But yeah, I just don't think Biggs saw Jackson Pole coming up on the outside like that. Ended up sort of coming across him and getting spun round. Now Jamel Love's in again, so is looking to do some more repairs. And this is where it gets so fascinating, I think, for when there's no fast repairs. Oh, is he accidentally taking another set of tyres there?
It looks to be, at least on the left side now.
Well, I didn't see him go up on the left. Maybe he unchecked the lefts as he was up on the rights. But yeah, it's going to be very frustrating. 19 seconds, though, suggests that he might have got all the repairs done at least, which is positive. But he might have just wasted a set of tyres there accidentally, because you've got to remember to uncheck the tyres when you come. You've got to untick them if you don't want them to be taken. But it's a very easy mistake to make when there's so much happening at a short track like this.
Especially at a short track like this, you have just milliseconds to change the dials and turn on and off tires, or use your mouse to be able to configure that pit stop correctly. But man, oh man, at least on road racing, you have a straightaway where you can buy 3 or 4 seconds of downtime to check your mirrors, look at your black box, change over to your pit box, and then do tires on the next lap. There is no reprieve here.
No, absolutely. And, Love was racing around to even catch the pack at all when we were seeing him come out the pit lane first time round. So, yeah. Brandon Biggs still down in pit lane, by the way. It looks like it could be a very long repair for him. We'll see, though. See whether he gets back in the race, indeed. Thomas McLaughlin, indeed, back on the lead lap again. Dropped a lap after the repairs of the last caution, but got the free pass. Is now back on the lead lap. Patrick Millett, the only one who's not on the lead lap now, who's still running, but still 8 laps down for Millett. Another restart then. 4th caution of the day ends just as quickly as it started. And Thomas Stokes, the points leader, gets it underway. But Ryan Wayne, one of his big challenges, gets to the outside for turn 1 and 2. And they almost touch. It's the 71 who holds on to the lead, though, off of 2.
What a great retort there from Stokes onto Ryan Wayne, who seemingly had a better start on this 4th restart tonight. Now looking back, Josh Wise gaining 11 positions in that 51 has really been one of the hard chargers this evening.
Yeah, look at this. Fantastic progression through the field from Josh Wise, as there's another caution now. And we are coming up to the end of lap 50. So I wonder whether we're going to see some more pit stops this time round. But it's at the back of the pack again. I think Kevin Page involved this time again. See off of 2 here what happens to the 87. Oh dear, Love just comes across on him there. And it's more damage for Jamel Love. And this time collects the 87 of Kevin Page, who actually didn't have to come into pit lane straight away, but Jamel Love did. That might be the end of his day.
Goodness gracious, Jamel Love cannot catch a break this week alone. I mean, holy Toledo, this night has just gone the polar opposite of any other night we've seen his races go.
That's it's a real shame. I mean, I say drove very well on Tuesday.
Yeah.
And unfortunately not able to replicate that at another short track here across the country in California tonight. So that's a real shame. See if anybody pits here. John Russo came in last time round. I think the pit lane was open last time, so there you go. And there's the 23 of Brandon Biggs getting a wave around there. A free pass. Was able to get out the pit lane after 2.5 minutes in pit lane, and is now going to go to 2 laps down rather than 3. Thomas McLaughlin spends 45 seconds in the lane repairing damage. Gets back out there in time. as does Kevin Page already out there anyway. John Russo pitted, obviously stays on the lead lap as well, but I'm surprised that more didn't come in that time round, because we are past the 50 lap mark now. But I guess the guys will be thinking, well, yes, we've done 50 laps, but actually 20 of them were under caution, so maybe it's not worth changing the tyres just yet.
That's a very good point, with the majority of those laps being under caution, with it being just a quick track to do caution laps at. It's going to be a challenge to see what the real stint is going to look like for some of these guys. When does the fall off become a problem? When does it really become an issue? And when can they challenge forward to go for that early pit stop and try to go for an undercut? I think that's going to be the toughest thing to decipher throughout this race, is when is the best time to go change out those tires and try to undercut your opponent to the very end of the race.
Let's wait and see here. It's oh dear me, the top two very nearly hit each other there. Thomas Stokes, I guess, has figured out that staying too tight to the inside as you're restarting is actually hampering the guy in the lead. It happened to Wayne when he was in the lead. It happened to Nerat as well. Stokes has managed to figure this one out a little bit better, though, as we get back racing under green. 54 laps completed. Outside line for Jackson Pole is that again, who's on new tyres, don't forget, compared to the others, and is racing through. I mean, only 5 laps newer than the others, but look at the joy that he's having in the 52, right on the high side.
And that 44 and 16, Todd Swalson and Kevin Nerat alongside each other, beginning the 2x2 train. The 52 getting squirrely as he drifts down to the low side apron. The 88 over there of Jackson Albright, caught in the middle of all of this action and consuming as much track real estate as he can to try to keep up with the cars ahead.
Jamel Love, by the way, is our first retirement officially from tonight's race, sadly. Dropped to the back, so we're down to 17 in the pack, and only Brandon Biggs and Patrick Miller off the lead lap at the moment. Still a very, very busy front of this race. Chaser McCook up to second, as you can see. Josh Wise looking to take that away from him, though. 2 drivers here, McCook and Wise, who have both gained a lot of places in tonight's early going.
Josh Wise up 11 positions and continuing that charge. Look at that stair-stepping graphic on the left-hand side of your screen. It is just continued climb after climb, and eventually that's going to plateau. And hopefully he can hold on to the charge of P1 at the end of the day. Has he burned his candle a little too bright too soon? Well, we'll find out with under 190 laps left to go.
It's a long, long way to go yet. We're not even a quarter of the way through this race yet. I expect there to be less cautions towards the finish here. There's no time limit really that's going to be playing into this tonight. 3 hours 20 is the time limit. I'm surprised if we couldn't get that done under caution entirely, to be honest with you. But anyway, luckily we're not going to find out. Here comes the battle for the race lead. Jason McCook challenging Thomas Stokes, who's, as I said earlier, already got his bonus point for leading a lap here, as does Ryan Wayne. Still waiting to see if Compton and Slauson can do the same and sort of even that out. Kevin Nerat took the pole position point away as well. Obviously, we'll keep an eye on the hard charger bonus, but it looks like most of the bonus is going to be offset here, and it's going to be purely about where these championship contenders finish. Chaser McCook looking to the inside. He's at least got a nose there now. And Thomas Stokes again holds it off this challenge from Chaser McCook.
Here comes Albright on Compton, drags him out to the barrier, the number 6, trading a little paint with the concrete wall. And that 88, you can't see him, but he is there. You can see the red numbers. That's about it. That's all we can see of that 88 of Jackson Albright's car. Brad Compton takes advantage of the opening that was there, and Jackson Albright tries to get a switchback, but the caution period comes out one more time.
Indeed it does. It's Jackson Pole this time involved. He's dropped a lot of positions anyway. Maybe it's unrelated, but I doubt it. Off of turn 2. He seems fine, so be into 3 and 4, where he's had the trouble here as expected. Oh, just loose on the way in here. Completely on his own there, going for a spin. Now, here come the pit stops. Thomas Stokes is caught up to the pace truck already. I mean, the field... Oh, there was actually a bit of contact involved here as well. So there may be some longer stops. But Jason McCook and Josh Wise carry on, as does Brad Compton. Frank Marchese, easier to tell you who carries on rather than who comes in. Kevin Page, John Russo carry on, as well as Thomas McLaughlin. So the top 7 have all stayed out. All of the others on the lead lap have come in here, and here they go for 4 tyres. To be honest, I'm not surprised. I'm more surprised that more haven't come in, to be honest with you. Thomas Stokes goes out first, easily first. The field wasn't really all behind the pace truck yet when they actually had the chance to come in there. Ryan Wayne is second, then Kevin Nerat, Todd Slauson, Jackson Albright, Jason Trockey will be next after that, and then there'll be some of the lower contenders here. Jackson Pole actually didn't need any repairs there, that's quite remarkable. James Burns as well gets out there on the lead lap in 15th place. Thomas McLaughlin decides to come in second time round, so we'd be left with 6 at the front of the field here. 3 who have already pitted, and 3 who still have yet to make a pit stop in this race at all.
I don't even know what to call this, a potpourri mix of driver strategies at this point in time. I mean, it's just a plethora of choices. Drivers that have come in, drivers that have not come in, drivers that came in on lap 51, 65, lap 40, like Brad Compton right now. There's a variety of strategies at play right now. Which one is going to be the prime one? Well, we're going to find out in about 2 laps when the green flag drops.
Yeah, indeed, the lights will go off now, so we'll be back under green very soon. Is this caution number 7? I'm already sort of losing count. If that is the case, though, if it is about 7, let's say it is, I reckon these guys might be able to go well past 100 laps in terms of fuel. So this green flag room would need to be 40 to 50 laps, I would say, to put these 3 who haven't stopped at all yet, to put them in danger of needing to make a green flag pit stop. If you're going to, looking like what this race is at the moment, if you can avoid making a green flag pit stop tonight, I think that is the bare minimum. Here comes the restarts. Oh no, Jason McCook's gone loose, and how are they all going to avoid this? Compton has to go to the inside. He would have been hoping for some quick overtakes, I suppose, and maybe a lap lead and a bonus point here, but he's not going to get that at all. Running round the outside, Josh Wise finally completes his run to the front of the field in the most bizarre of circumstances.
What a restart. Holy Toledo. That caught us all by surprise. It looked like the 6 had a wiggle, but behind Jason McCook, who had the worst of the starts, but Josh Wise, well, he is the wisest of them all and had the finest of the starts. Gets in front of Frank the Tank in the number 24, and that'll be another caution called. So it'll be because of Todd Slauson and his incident. Wow. Let's take a look at what happened here.
Could be big news. He's one of the big 4 in terms of this championship. The 87 a little bit slowed there off of turn 2. Slauson tries to go past Wayne. Oh, and Nerat trying to come down the inside. Slauson doesn't see him on the other side of the 87. Slauson gets hit. Trockey has to avoid up high there, as does somebody else. And in the end, no massive harm done for Todd Slauson.
What is Albright doing all the way back there? Albright down in 10th position right now. He came in on lap 65, excuse me. That's why he cycled to the back behind Kevin the Vulture Page.
Yes, yeah. There's still a bit of weirdness in this order because of the stops. Jason McCook has come in this time round. That's the free pass driver. Who gets it this time? James Burns, I think that is. And Josh Wise now comes in. So he's had enough of leading, although he didn't come in when he could have done. He's coming to pit lane now. So Frank Marchese is going to take the lead, and he's going to lead a lap here. Wonder how many people who are not going to have led a lap so far. I'm not sure how many it is that have led laps yet, but got to be about 7 drivers already. And we're barely a quarter of the way through this race, coming up to a third distance in this race. So, yeah, lots of stops. Jackson Pole also coming in second time round. If they all can all stay on the lead lap, they'd be at 15 on the lead lap. But, yeah, lots of cautions, lots of spins, but not many out the race yet, which is keeping this track very, very busy and more prone to cautions than it otherwise might be.
It's been a very exciting race. Throughout this event, we've seen drivers really challenge each other for their skill and their grit. Can their confidence in their vehicles, you know, can you go side by side? Do you have the confidence to carry that speed and momentum in that one particular lane without drifting up high? We've seen a lot of really good battles take place without any big consequences affect the field.
Yeah, indeed. Well, let's see what happens on this restart here. Yeah. Jackson Pole just missed it that slightly. He thought he could stay on the lead lap there, but he just misjudged that. And so he is now one lap down in 15th place. He's not quite out the back yet where he should be, which is going to be a bit awkward on this restart as we get back going again. 74 laps complete here tonight. And Brad Compton is trying to get out front so he can lead a lap here. He's got 40 laps fresher tyres than Frank Marchese. But even despite that, he's struggling to get past on this restart.
Brad Compton couldn't stitch it together here on the first lap, but I bet he's got something up his sleeve trying to figure out the best way to work it. With Thomas Stokes, though, challenging him for that position. That's going to open the door to also Ryan Wayne to try to get ahead of Brad Compton, who's desperate to get that extra point under his belt.
I can't do it. Caution's out. And it's for somebody at the back again. Might be Kevin Nerat who's involved. He was involved in the last one as he made contact with Slauson. And the two of them are close together again here. Surely they can't have made contact again, these two. Yep, they have. Slauson coming down the inside of Nerat this time. Spinning out the 16, who is just about avoided by everybody again. So, oh, goodness, that was close at the end there, whoever that was. But, yeah, we get away with it. The pole sitter spun around. Not at a bit of intentional retaliation, but just strange that those two have made contact again there as Frank Marchese uses this opportunity to come into the pit lane along with John Russo, Kevin Page and Kevin Nerat all in as well.
John Russo, Kevin Nerat, Frank Marchese, and Kevin Page all in pit lane, and it looks like Page serving a black flag penalty. Well, will have to serve a black flag penalty next time they come through the pit lane. Still leaves Thomas Stokes in the lead of this event in front of Ryan Wade and Brad Compton in third, able to still try to get that bonus point for the lead. Josh Wise has trickled down the order after that lap 72 pit stop, and he's down in ninth.
Yeah, indeed. So everybody has stopped now, but just depends on when. Now, Brad Compton has gone from the one with the fresher tyres compared to almost everybody to the one with the older tyres, and I don't think he's led that lap yet. If you wouldn't mind pulling up his graph so we can try. Oh, no, there we go. He has led one lap, so he must have got to the front just by a nose, coming to the end of a lap or something. Yeah, might have done it on the restart itself, which I personally don't think should count, but there you go. That's not the point. Brad Compton has indeed led at least a lap today. So there's the bonus point. Just waiting for Todd Slauson now of the big championship contenders to get that point, and then then doesn't really matter because everyone of the championship contenders will have had one. Slauson hasn't been any higher than third, and that's where he was off the start. He was good in qualifying, clearly, to qualify third, but since then, he's been slowly going down the field. See if he can recover from that here. As Stokes and Wayne on the front again, the two big championship contenders are able to restart from the front all over again here. Green flag back in the air at Kern County Raceway Park, and it's Thomas Stokes, the championship leader, back in the race lead.
Thomas Stokes, Ryan Wayne at it all over again, but further back it'll be Jackson Albright, who's really been slinking his way up and down the order this evening, finding out what P4 feels like all over again. Gets the move down on the 46, who gets a big hit from behind. That's Jason Truckee, who got hit from Todd Slauson. And then the 81 in front of Jason McCook, who's going to go down below the apron, rejoin the racetrack carefully, and we're going to avoid a very close caution called, staying 3 wide between the 59, the 16, and the 14 of Jason McCook.
I'm not entirely sure how we got away with that, but somehow this race is still under green, and somehow nobody's crashed. Pretty unbelievable at the end of the first third of this race officially, by the way. 83 laps now completed. It's taken, 37 and a bit minutes, but you'd imagine the cautions will start to thin out a little bit later on in the day. Let's see, though, as it goes on. The 81 now being challenged by Josh Wise. That's Thomas McLaughlin being challenged by Wise. The two red cars here fighting side by side for 8th place. This is Wise very much coming back through the field again after the timing of his pit stop rather put him down the field a bit.
Jason McCook, what can you do out of P10, challenging Thomas McLaughlin right now for that 10th spot? And that car may be looking very red and fast, but Jason McCook is trying to make quick work of him in his black and orange machine. A little bit early for Halloween, but I think the color scheme works for the equipment recycled badge car. The number 14 of Chase McCook finds out P10 is where he goes for now. 1 spot down from where he started this race in P9.
Oh, that was very close, and that's a spin for Wise, is it? As he saved it. Josh Wise has saved it. He very nearly made contact with somebody there and very nearly spun round as well, but that's going to be another dip in his graph of where he's been over the course of the day. He was steadily working his way up that table earlier. Unfortunately, he's had a few spikes downwards in the last couple of moments, which he could do without. Here's Todd Slauson alongside Frank Marchese here in the side-by-side battle for 6th position. They're crawling all over the back of Jason Trocchi as well, who just happens to be in the way right now. Here comes Slauson on the inside line. He's alongside Trocchi now, almost accidentally in this fight for 6th position.
Todd Slauson goes again to the inside line on Jason Trocchi and is able to get the move done and dusted. Takes off like a rocket ship as Trocchi drops back. Frank the Tank now is going to consume that position, and so is Kevin Neurath, who started the race out in P1.
Yeah, indeed, the pole sitter. Kevin Neurath moves through into 7th place as Trocchi, the one going backwards. He's stuck on the outside. Josh Wise is going to get through as well by the looks of things, and does so. There you go, Josh Wise through as well, in ahead of Jason Trocchi. Jackson Albright, meantime, gets past Ryan Wayne for 2nd. That's a pass down the inside, and Thomas Stokes is going to be looking in his mirrors at that one, because Albright is coming. Look at that.
Here we go, battle for the lead between Albright and Stokes. To the inside goes the 88, a drop of the hat, and the 71 gives enough racing room for Albright to exist, but just barely, and Albright snaps back again through the following corners of 1 and 2.
That was unbelievably close between those two, and again, that was a big dive from Albright down the inside again, round the outside from Thomas Stokes. He's able to hold on, but Albright is throwing it into turn 1, especially turn 3 a little bit as well. He's absolutely throwing it in there, hoping that it sticks. So far it has done, but he's not been able to stick it out with the race lead, which is the key thing here. But surely, the way that he's throwing it in, surely he's not helping that front right tyre at the moment.
It's definitely not helping that front right tire, but he's backed off and attempts to cool it off. A little bit of a touch there. Just as I say, he's backed off in the 71. He gives a little love tap to him. The Del Taco Better Mix getting a better hit there from the camo badged Albright in the 88. Battles everywhere you look up and down the field currently as drivers are all jostling for position. Here's Frank the Tank in the 44 of Todd Slauson.
I mean, it's like watching a restart. Still, I mean, the restart was about 15 laps ago now. Still like watching a restart. Pretty unbelievable what we're seeing at the moment. Slauson still on the inside there of Marchese, who's running around the outside, trying to. And he's going to just about get clear-ish. Not quite. Slauson on the inside is still there. Marchese around the outside is able to hold on for now at least. He's fighting out hard there. It's Marchese. I mean, it is just amazing to watch these guys go side by side, pretty much lap after lap after lap after lap. And this is for the last spot inside the top 5. Slauson dives in a bit deeper this time, and maybe that will seal the deal.
Slauson looks like he wants to challenge Brad Compton for that extra point as well. If he can get up into the point of the lead, he'll get that extra point for this race, but he's got a long way to go. And Thomas Stokes challenges for the lead, excuse me, as Jackson Albright trickles back. That's the 38 of Patrick Millette, causing a little bit of trouble for the race leaders.
It is, yeah, and he's but recently been gaining quite a lot of laps actually because of these cautions, but he's not been able to stay on the lead lap, stay on whatever lap it was, under green here. So we might be about to see our first lapping actually under green, but he doesn't know where to go at the moment, Miller, because Stokes and Albright are side by side pretty much everywhere again. Lap 100 officially crossed, and as they crossed the line, they were absolutely side by side, those two. Stokes round the outside, still able to hold on, but they've got to be careful of this lap traffic now. Not only Millet, but there's also another one just up in front of them at the moment. It looks like Jackson Pole, who's already 1 lap down, might be about to go 2 laps down as caution comes out, and they are saved. It's Compton who's spun round.
Let's see what happened down here for the number 6 of Brad Compton, way down the order. How did he get involved with any of the trouble that was going on up ahead, or was this all on his own? Let's see if he jumped or if he was pushed. It looks like he jumped all on his own and nearly comes down to the apron, but narrowly avoids the wall, and that's why we'll get our caution called.
Yep. So he's able to avoid the wall. Now, we are over 100 laps. Yeah, this could be quite a popular stopping point here. Although Thomas Stokes stays out, so does Josh Lawson, Frank Marchese. Josh Wise, Jason Trocchi have also carried on. But you've got to remember how stretched out the field is. That it's not quite going to be madness down there. John Russo stays out, so does Thomas McLaughlin, James Burns, Brad Compton. So actually only 4 in. I'll tell you about them when they come out here. Kevin Nerat just hesitating to get into the lane there properly. Albright's going to be out first of those. Then it's going to be Ryan Wayne. Then it is going to be Chasen McCook, followed by Kevin Nerat here making their pit stop. So only 4 coming in after that quite long green flag run, and after we've done more than 100 laps. I'm a little bit surprised by that.
That was an excellent green flag run. Good job calling that one, Ewan. Yeah, it was amazing. That little stint we had. Thomas Stokes, Todd Slauson, Frank the Tank up into 3rd, and Josh Wise finds 4th here, but the pit stops are a little scattered. 7 laps separate Thomas Stokes from Frank the Tank. Excuse me, more than that. It'll be closer to 8 laps between Frank the Tank and Thomas Stokes in their tire strategy. Brad Compton, Jackson Pole, Thomas McLaughlin, and Brandon Biggs all come through pit lane just now.
I have a feeling that some of these guys don't quite understand when pit lane opens at this circuit, because the amount of times that we've seen people coming in when it's already been open once. I don't know. Jackson Paul was 1 lap down, back to 1 lap down. He's now back to 2 down again, I think, because of this longer pit stop. Can that be correct? No, actually, sorry, it would still remain 1 lap down. Although we are going green this time round, and he's in pit lane right now, so maybe this is not looking so good for him. Still 17 of the 18 running, by the way, but 13 only on the lead lap now, and that number surely is going to diminish continually here over the course of the day. We're still not quite halfway in this race just yet. A long way to go at Kern County Raceway Park here tonight for the Vitz Medals 250 in California tonight. Thomas Stokes looking to really take this championship by the scruff of the neck and win his 4th race of the season. Is leading again on this restart.
Trouble.
And there's a bit of trouble in the background. A spin for Ryan Wayne, one of the big contenders in this championship, has spun round with James Burns, and there's still no caution. That's unbelievable that there's no caution for that. Absolutely unbelievable. And Ryan Wayne will be furious because he is now down in 13th position.
Wow, what a call there. No caution called automatically by both drivers. Let's get a quick replay and see what happens here between James Burns and Ryan Wayne.
Well,
so it's
wait for them to get out turn 2 here, I think. Before we see anything really. Wayne hits the back of Burns, and then it's Kevin Nerat who hits the back of Ryan Wayne. But, I mean, he's not below the apron there entirely, and he was spun round properly. I've no idea how that wasn't a caution. Burns has had to come into pit lane. Wayne is carrying on, but he's not that far from going a lap down. Maybe this battle will help. Side by side for the lead. Marchese down to the inside of Stokes. In towards 1 again, he gives it another go. Just Frank Marchese in the background. Albright is fighting with Slauson as the lap car involved as well. It's Jackson Pole in the way of Thomas Stokes there. Pole tries to stay as high as possible, but it's too late. Frank Marchese gets into the race lead.
What a move by Frank to use lap traffic to his advantage. But there's Jackson Allbright making hay while the sun is shining.
As you mentioned, the advantage for Frank Marchese is his tyres. 12 laps, sorry.
Caution called under this period. It looks like Thomas Stokes and Todd Slauson were involved in this one. Let's get a quick replay of what happened there as we catch Ewan back up.
Sorry, I don't know what happened there. I disconnected. Luke's on his own, Stokes. And he was on the inside of McCook. Now, does he get hit here by anybody? Slauson in the 44 Slauson gets touched. And Compton. Oh, my word. 3 of the 4 championship contenders involved in that wreck there.
What a hit. What a caution period. This trickles in Nearett, Compton, Russo, Stokes, and Slauson with a meatball flag into pit lane.
Wow. This is massive, potentially. So, Nerat, Stokes, Russo, Compton, Slauson are all into pit lane. That leaves us with only 12 on the lead lap, by the way, because James Burns has gone. It's a normal stop for John Russo. But it's long for Kevin Nerat. It's long for Brad Compton. Stokes is going past the normal lane time as well, although only slightly. Nerat and Compton are going to make it out. Todd Slauson could be there for a very long time.
That was a big hit into the side of the 44 of Todd Slauson, and that's really going to ruin his charge. He was running so well this evening. It's a shame to see him out of the race in that way. A couple of drivers looked like they were on their way in pit lane. That was Brad Compton, who was making his way downtown.
Again, so he's clearly got more damage to try and repair it. Oh, he's missed his pit box as well, so he's missed some seconds there of repairs. He's barely got any done there. 6 seconds. And he's going to do well to get out in ahead. He's got to be careful. He is just about going to stay in front. So he's just about still on the lead lap here is Compton, but he's the last one on the lead lap in 11th position.
Oh, man. At least he's managed to marginally stay on the lead lap. At least he doesn't have to fight for the lucky dog with Jackson Pole right now, who is a full lap down. Here we go for the restart, Ewan.
Yep, here we go. It's going to be Frank Marchese in control of the field, but he's got Albright on newer tyres on the outside of him. He's got Jason McCook directly behind him, also on newer tyres. Look at the run from Albright. He runs it in too deep, though. He's got to be careful, as Albright, that he doesn't be a little bit overzealous here in his attempts to overtake. Around the outside, it's not done yet. And here comes Jason McCook. He can't quite make it 3 wide. Albright making hard work of this at the moment.
Jackson Albright might be the hard charger this evening, up 11 positions when he climbs up into the lead of this event. But Frank Marchese isn't done with that conversation, tries to settle it on the racetrack rather than in the voice channel.
It's still side to side, but for these two, Marchese a bit loose, coming off of turn 2, and now Albright's finally got himself ahead. Jason McCook, is going to try and do the same, and that was much quicker. He's almost clear by turn 1. That was much more efficient. In the background, Josh Wise is on the same strategy as Marchese, so it's just really McCook and Albright who are the ones with the speed right now.
And what about Josh Wise? What can he do? He came in on lap 72. And there's a caution coming out for Brendan Biggs. See what happened here to the lonely driver, the number 23, a little far back for anybody else to have helped him out with this one.
Yeah, just loose into turn 3 again. We haven't seen this happen to the championship leader, though, so it's not too... Oh, there's Compton just squeezing past, and that's a big hit for Kevin Nerat. So Kevin Nerat gets involved in that one and has a Oh, surely a little bit of damage for that incident there.
Now Jackson Albright is apparently scored as the leader in front of Chasen McCook. Both drivers coming in on lap 103.
They'll definitely stay out during this caution here. Stokes, Trocky, McLaughlin all into pit lane from the lead lap. Some of the others staying out. Jackson Pole is the one on his own, a lap down at the moment, so is getting free passes towards the lead lap again. That will make it 12 on the lead lap. We currently have 11. Todd Slauson and James Burns, by the way, still taking on long repairs at the moment. But you've got to say that this is Slauson all but out of the championship now. 9 points back coming into tonight. He needed to beat the other three, I would say. And he's not going to do that now. That, unfortunately, I think spells the end of his championship this season.
Lights are still on for the pace rock, so everybody's going to still have time to catch back up. It looks like Brad Compton still in the pits, and Kevin Nera and Jackson Pole are still in the pits as well.
Indeed. They're going to get 2 by 2 again at the end of this lap here. Still only one stop made by Marchese and Wise, by the way. They really are keeping some tyres back for the very end of this race, which I'm not entirely sure about as a strategy, but there you are. We're going to hit halfway at the end of this lap, by the way. 55 minutes for the first half of this race. Again, it might get quicker towards the end, but at the moment we're looking towards a close to 2-hour race, which is going to be a real test of endurance for these drivers. We don't often see races as long as this one. We've had obviously 250 laps at Bristol, but that has some fairly decent green flag runs in it in the first half of this season. Half distance then at Kern County Raceway Park, and it is Jackson Albright who's going to lead them over the line again. He's looking strong right now on the right strategy and looking pretty quick as well in car 88.
Frank Marchese, though, is going to be looking strong as well. That number 24 is challenging Chasen McCook, who's leaving the door open out of safety and self-preservation, not out of kindness to Frank Marchese, who's up 7 positions right now. Joshua Wise in that number 51 red, white, and blue machine and Bush badged is going to be up those coveted 10 as he tries to find his podium. It's nothing but net from here on out.
Indeed. Side by side over the line back here for Trocky and Thomas Stokes, who's on the outside then, the 71. Stokes has been in 3 times, by the way, which suggests that he's still repairing damage at the moment. He's on his 3rd set of tyres as things... is that right? I think maybe... No, he is on his 3rd of the race so far. He'll be... not that far away from another tyre change. I suppose that 150 and onwards we expect to see the 4th set of tyres come out for these drivers, but it does, I think, feel noticeably quieter actually with the retirees that we've had. Obviously already got Jamal Love out this race, but Todd Slauson now is officially retired from this race as well, and Kevin Nera is now in for long repairs as well, so it feels just a little bit quieter here on these restarts as the amount of drivers on the lead lap diminishes now.
I think just the lack of so many cars on the grid now allows the drivers to get a little bit more space between each other and maybe challenge a little bit less often than they were in the early half of this race. Now that the final half is upon us, 131 of 250 in our crosshairs, drivers can see the checkered flag rather than seeing the green flag behind them.
Yeah, exactly. They're closer to the finish than they are to the start, although it's taken them a long time to get to this point, I think it's fair to say. I mean, some of the races in the ASR League are less than an hour in length. I mean, they're very quick ones indeed. We've had some quick ones in the past, in the recent times. The trucks at Texas, for example, not far over an hour. So these races in the O'Reilly Series are 50 miles longer normally. We're not running to miles tonight, though. We're running to 250 laps around Kern County Raceway Park. It is Jackson Albright leading the race in front of Chasen McCook. And again, their two closest chasers are on older tyres than they are. Marchese and Wise still on older tyres. Ryan Wayne's trying to make an effort to come through himself in the 39. He's currently challenging Josh Wise for fourth position. And there he goes to the inside, actually. I've just seen that. Oh, he's just been cut off as he's trying to make that pass. But he's the first one really giving chase here outside that top two.
Ryan Wayne has been down and out from this race. Glad to see him back in the mix. A low of P13. And Jason Truckee trying to ruin that night for him right now. But look at the climb back up after the cautions came out. And he's come back up into the top 10.
Indeed. Just so many graphs like that today where people have had good starts and then difficult through the middle and then back on it again at the end of the race or towards this point in the race. Yeah, it's been a very mixed day for a lot of people. There goes Jason McCook looking down the inside indeed of Jackson Albright as well into 3 and 4. There's another guy who's had ups and downs throughout today, dropping outside or to 10th position twice in this race, including off of the very start of this race, but has also led over 20 laps of this race as well. So a very mixed day. Well, I've got to say, does look pretty quick at the moment, Jackson Albright, even though he is being challenged by Jason McCook pretty closely.
Jackson Albright still leads Jason McCook. Number 14, who indeed does look very quick out there tonight. What about Jason Truckee in his hunt for glory this evening? How far has he been able to climb? High of P4 just outside of the podium. Hopefully he can change that going into the final 110 laps of this event. Time flies when you're having fun, doesn't it, Ewan?
Absolutely, it's been a fun race so far. The penultimate race of the season. Jason McCook gets to the inside here, looking for the lead. Ahead of Jackson Albright, who's fighting back on the outside. Jason McCook thought he could come up and block the 88 there, but he wasn't quite clear in time. He's not got this pass done just yet.
Chase McCook looking to the inside line and consuming all the real estate that Albright leaves him, but it's not very much around the apex of those corners. Albright's even going up to the apron of the wall to try to give him as much room down on the inside for the number 14. Eventually succeeds the position as the caution gets called.
Indeed. And I wonder who it's for this time round. Looks like I won't guess. We'll just wait and find out. A tow back to the pit lane from John Russo, maybe having something to do with this. Although he did that 3 minutes ago. So I'll be surprised if that's the cause of this caution. Into the pit lane, by the way, for Frank Marchese, Josh Wise, Thomas Stokes and Brad Compton. 2 of those for tyres in the case of Wise and Marchese, and 2 of those, the other 2, Stokes and Compton, needing even more damage repairs. This is remarkable, really. 2 of the... Well, Stolzen's already out, one of the 4 contenders. Compton and Stokes still need to keep coming in and repairing their cars, and Ryan Wayne is... trying to challenge the top 2 in the lead as the only one who's pretty much undamaged so far in this race of the championship contenders.
But now he's in P3. Came in on lap 103. Same strategy as Jackson Albright and Chase McCook. Now it'll be Jason Truckee, who has 20 lap fresher tires than the trio up the road, with Frank the Tank with 20 laps fresher than that. On lap 143 is when he came in, but now the driver's coming in again. What does this mean for the rest of the field coming in on lap 143? Does this mean that they'll be able to charge through the field early, or does this just mean that they'll go longer in this middle stint?
Very much depends on who it is and whose strategy it is. I think Marchese and Wise are going to be ones to watch on this restart. They're only back in 5th and 6th, such as the small amount of drivers who are actually contending at the front now in this later stage of the day. But for the likes of Stokes and Compton, they probably haven't taken newer tyres there. They're probably still on pretty old ones and just coming in repeatedly to try and repair the damage there. And Compton has just he's coming in again, but that might not be the greatest call. this time round, because we're going green, I think, at the end of lap 146. Yeah, indeed we are. So 104 laps to go, and we're coming back to green again with Compton still in the pit lane. He's coming out now, and he's going to have to try and race around. So last driver on the lead lap in 8th position at the moment. And so look at that diminished field now. It's a bruised and battered field, getting back underway with just over 100 laps to go.
Frank the Tank and Jason Truckee going wheel to wheel again and again. The 24 alongside the 46 of Truckee here out of turn 4 across the stripe. We complete lap 148 on to lap 149.
Indeed we go on. Albright leading in front of McCook. Marchese and Wise already up to 3rd and 4th. Putting Ryan Wayne out wide there. This is a big opportunity for Ryan Wayne to gain some points, by the way. He surely has. Oh, and he's under pressure here from the 38 of Patrick Millett, who's still racing, by the way. 13th position, he's still 6 laps down, but he's raced his way very nicely indeed. Frank Marchese, meantime, is getting past Jason McCook, and he pulls in front of him. Wise is going to follow through. These two might well be on a winning strategy here, at least a race-leading strategy in the next few moments, because Marchese is flying.
What a move from Frank. Early on in this restart, we saw him weaving and knitting around the racetrack, but now there he goes again with a huge defense in front of the 51. This goes all the way to the lead of the race, to the 88 of Jackson Albright, who can do nothing but sit back and watch, but there comes the 51 of Josh Wise, and round goes the 24 of Frank Marchese.
Wow. Marchese and Wise both going round. Wise trying to make it 3 wide there to get the race lead away. Frank Marchese spun out as a result of it all. And retaking the lead, Jackson Albright. That's not the cause of the caution, by the way. There was already a caution waving about when these guys sort of hit the apex of turn 3, if you like. Almost just before those two made contact. So you could say it's needless contact under caution. Well, they probably still thought they were racing at that point, really. They were committed to the corner. And the caution, as I say, was out before. Yeah, this is why. It's out the final corner of the previous lap. Jackson Pole into a spin, and involved in that is Kevin Page as well.
This brings into the pit Thomas Stokes, Brad Compton, Jason McCook, who's already on his way out. Jackson Pole sitting on a meatball flag. Will have to serve an extra time in the lane. Ryan Wayne, Jason Truckee come down into the pits, this time by to get some service.
I just don't understand why they don't pit when they should. I just don't get it. Anyway, they are in now. And that is past lap 150, so we're in the normal window for 4 more tyres being taken. I can understand Albright staying out, though, to be fair, since he's still in the lead, but next caution is probably going to come in. I'd say you just want to get a bit of an offset, really, with Marchese and Wise. You've clearly got better tyres than Albright has, and that was clear on that short green flag run that we just saw there. But if you're holding the lead, I don't think there's any reason, really, for Jackson Albright to come into pit lane just right now.
6 one way, half dozen the other, I think is the common American saying. He split it one way. They all end up about even Stevens at the end of the day. But who's going to come out on top? I have my money on Jackson Albright right now. He seemingly has had a winning strategy and a winning mindset. And now Frank coming in on lap 143. I have a feeling like Albright might want to set himself up to go to the very end of this race. If we go 10 more laps, and the fuel window is 90 laps, as we've been told, he can go to the very end on one set of tires.
Yeah, indeed. With cautions, probably anybody who pitted in the last one, I would say, could maybe make it. But let's see whether anybody actually does. Green flag's back in the air, and Albright off to a sluggish start here on the inside. The traction given by the tyres of Frank Marchese there lets him get back into the race lead again. Jason McCook challenging Albright there, having just pitted under the previous caution, but he hasn't given himself much of an offset to get past Marchese with. It's Marchese in front of McCook, who are now racing for the lead on their new tyres.
And you called it. Jackson Allbright dropped like a stone, unfortunately, on that restart. And just did not have the freshest of tires to go for the go.
Well, he was deciding when to go. It didn't matter. Whoa! Stokes there was on all thoughts of the wrong line, and he very nearly got into Albright there. Still clearly a bit of damage on Stokes' car, because last caution he came in for another pit stop there. For the 6th time today, Stokes was in last time round, so he's clearly got something going on here. Albright coming back down the inside of him, trying to anyway. Not able. Further back, by the way, on the lead lap, Ryan Wayne is still here, by the way. He's also trying to get a repair car. And he gets past Jason Truckee, who has caused another caution.
And what an odd spin there for the 46. He's alongside and speed this one up, as he really just did it all on his own and spun in front of the 38.
He was already, there was contact, but he was already spinning by that point. Yeah, exactly. So, another caution, and 90 laps to go as we take on this one. Jackson Albright now does come in, and I think that is a good call from him. He waited until he'd lost the lead there. He was going to hold on to the lead on those older tyres for as long as possible, and then come in when there was... oh, dear, he's almost missed his pit box, but thankfully just about got in. He will now be the one with the new tyres and trying to come through on the others. And there's only, don't forget, 9 on the lead lap at the moment. So it's very feasible to come through the field when the lead lap is so small as it is now.
That's a very good point. With only 9 on the lead lap, Brandon Biggs being 2 laps down on the field. Currently, Kevin the Vulture Page down more than 4. And Patrick Millette still trying to climb back. And hats off to him for staying in it to win it tonight. The number 38 has been driving since the word go, even though he started a few laps back. Here comes Brad Compton and John Rousseau.
So Compton, one of our championship contenders, still trying to get a car repaired at the moment, while being 9th of 9. Rousseau has been in there again as well. He's nearly 20 laps down at the moment. He's had some long repairs earlier on in the day. But Compton is trying to stay on the lead lap here while doing all this, which is just impossible. Not impossible, clearly, but he can't get the damage quite repaired. So, there we go. Makes his way back out there again. Back in 9th, but it's a pretty miserable existence back there, trying to repair and stay on the lead lap all at the same time. As we enter the last 90 laps, he can get to the end now on fuel. Might as well untick their begin fueling column now, because they probably won't need any more, any of those who've made pit stops already in the last few moments. So yeah, either way, we're about to go back green again. Lots of different leaders here tonight, lots of action at Kern County Raceway Park. And another caution comes to an end with Frank Marchese leading the field back to green again.
Take a look at Jason McCook as he charges up the order with his 7 positions gained. He's not quite done with this. Joshua Wise continues to try to fight for his podium and his life right now. Came in on lap 23, and then we'll have another caution as Brad Compton is the causation of this one.
Has he just undone a lot of the damage repairs he's been doing? He gets to the outside of somebody here. He dives. Oh no, he's just lost it on his own. I wonder if it is a legacy of the damage that he's so prone to spinning around, and he was just avoided, just about. I mean, as I say, maybe it shows that Brad Compton hasn't quite repaired that car yet, because that was a spin like we've seen many times before coming in towards turn 3 there.
Yeah, it's apparent that that car is very well damaged and needs some extra love and attention in pit lane. Brad Compton comes down the lane to get that service, again using the advantage of the caution. Unfortunately, he caused this one to try to get that damage repaired.
Yeah, indeed. Not suggesting that's a tactic.
Not at all, not at all.
It'd be quite funny if it was, but there you go. Another 26 seconds in the box, and he's back on his way again. So yeah, still 9 on the lead lap. Has Brandon Biggs received the free pass yet, or not? At the moment, Biggs is 2 laps down, and could be quite close to getting back onto the lead lap again in the next few moments. Normally happens with 1 to go. Well, the wave arounds happen with 1 to go, but there isn't any wave arounds here. Yeah, not sure whether Biggs already received that lap back or not, but it does feel a lot quieter with only 9 on the lead lap but because there are so many more running, not on the lead lap, the cautions keep coming because we keep having these solo spins at the back of the field.
Yeah, and I wonder what the root cause is of that. Or is it drivers that have gone too long on their stints, drivers who are pushing a little too hard on that stint as well, trying to recover some positions? I just curious what the root cause is for all the drivers to have that odd spin coming out of turn 3.
Yeah, it is odd. I don't have an explanation, to be honest. It's just one of those things, really. In towards turn 3. And we'll see how long they can survive through there. Continuing on here, 82 to go as Frank Marchese brings him back to the green. Jason McCook on the same strategy as him, challenges him right into turn 1 here for the lead, and look at the exit the 14's got here. Is this Jason McCook taking the race lead away from Frank Marchese at the moment? It's hard to know. They're absolutely locked dead level. And there's the contact. Jason McCook's going to be in the lead here. Oh, and turned into the wall. Joshua Wise right in front of the current championship leader, Thomas Stokes, turned into the wall hard.
Let's get a replay of what happened here as the caution comes out. Josh Wise is the victim here, but what happened? Does he come up or does he come down? It's so hard to tell on these racetracks,
especially on the front stretch, which is curved anyway. It is, but I think that's Wise going up personally. Looked to me like Wise going up. Let's wait and see if either of them pit this time round. Pit lane should be open this time, and it probably will only be taken by people who need damage repair, I would say. And Pompton is in, and Wise is in as well. So both of those two needing to take some, to clear some more optionals down the pit lane in this caution.
Getting just a little bit of Napa know-how here in the pit lane. Brad Compton in the number 6 getting that repair. And we're going to be going back to green flag running probably on lap 173 by the looks of it. So 2 laps left behind the pace car before we go green flag running. And that'll definitely put us in the, well, we've been in the fuel window for some time. Does this put us in the tire window is the question. I guess that really relies on how many extra cautions we might end up getting.
Also relates to who is Brandon Biggs, by the way, back on the lead lap here with the, oh sorry, he's still 1 lap down. Yeah, it also depends on what's happening around you, who's pitting around you, you know, what tyres are they on. I would say the window really opens at 200, but that's just sort of when I would pit and sort of going onwards. We've seen already tonight that some of these guys are willing to pit before those 50 lap marks, which are quite nicely evenly spaced throughout this race here, and the 5 tyre sets that everybody's got being utilised in that way as well. I think it's as I say, really dependent on what happens around you. For example, Jason McCook and Frank Marchese, while they're leading here, are not going to be too interested in undercutting and pitting. You want to hold on to the lead as long as you can and then make your pit stop, much like what we saw from Albright. And yes, he hasn't got back to the lead yet, but we've barely had any laps under green since Jackson Albright came into the pit lane 14 laps ago. Most of those were under yellow, so look out for him coming up very, very soon as he uses those newer tyres compared to the rest of the field. Jason McCook in charge of the restart this time after that late pass on Frank Marchese before the last caution. So he has the pleasure of bringing the field to the green and trying to get clear of Frank Marchese, so far unsuccessfully.
Chase McCook, Frank the Tank around the outside. He's going to lick the stamp and send it in his Toyota machine. Can he make that one stick around McCook, who's been working hard for the lead of the race? Frank as well, though, deserves a lot better than what happened on...
Truckee there, very nearly spun out right in front of Jackson Albright. I'm not even sure if there was contact between the two. There might have been, but Albright gets through, and we stay green because Truckee was attentive there and managed to save it before spinning around.
Chase McCook sitting back, about a half second back from Frank Marchese. And the number 24, Frank, is leading this race yet again. On lap 177, 178 gets completed. We'll keep on racing, folks. Here for the American Sim Racer O'Reilly Series. It's been a pleasure to take you from green to checkered flag. On behalf of Motor Mouth Broadcasting, it's been Ewan O'Leary and myself, Sagar Bakshi, taking you from green to checkered flag.
Yeah, just over 70 laps to go until that checkered flag here tonight. Side by side further behind between Thomas Stokes and Jackson Albright. So this is pretty important. One of the big race contenders here in car 88, Jackson Albright, with the big championship contender, the current leader, Thomas Stokes, who has had a troubled day in the 71, but he's still on the lead lap and he's mostly undamaged here to this point. Ryan Wayne is in front of him right now, but would be only one position in front if indeed Albright was able to get in front of him. But now it is two with Albright in front. So, yeah, that will be 2 points gained for Wayne if it stays as it is, which, of course, it won't for the next 70 laps, I suspect. He's going to try and come back through here. Is Stokes on Albright. These are two of the big names here fighting at the moment for just fourth place.
Whoa, big wiggle there from Stokes coming out of turn 2. He's able to recover that Del Taco machine and chase down Jackson Albright yet again. And we'll be chasing McCook, chasing down Frank Marchese for P1, but is it all over and done with as the driver with the fresher tires loses traction to Frank ahead? Frank lapping a little bit faster, lap over lap, and gaining ground between himself and McCook.
Looks like the early laps after a restart, given how close this is at the moment, all the way down. But we're, good few laps in here to one of the longer green flag runs that we've seen today. It's been very, very stop-start so far here at Kern County Raceway Park. 65 laps to go now, though, and the thinning out of this field. John Russo's almost as good as out of this race, as well as lots of the others. Jackson Pole also out. Kevin Now, I'm not sure I mentioned yet, which would be 5 retirements of the 18. It's making it feel a little bit quieter out there at the moment, and the reduced amount of guys on the lead lap as well, down to just 8 now, compared to what we saw earlier. Brandon Biggs and Josh Wise currently fighting for the free pass, both 1 lap down. Ryan Wayne currently fighting for second as he dives to the inside of Jason McCook and gets it. McCook's going to try and turn back underneath, but Wayne's up to second in his quest to gain as many points on Thomas Stokes as possible. He's now 3 positions in front of him.
Thomas Stokes down 1 from where he started this race, sits back in P5, so this is looking very good for Ryan Wayne, who started the race out in P2, has had a really big roller coaster override. Let's check out the graph on this one. Oh yeah, the highs and lows have been tremendous for Wayne tonight.
Yep, they certainly have. Not surprising, really, considering the perception to us of what we've seen. But, as I said, it's so important for him to gain points here tonight. 6 points is the gap between Stokes and Wayne coming into this, but as we've been talking about in the Truck Series, even 6 points seems like an awful lot because it's 1 point per position here. The bonuses often get swept up and sort of equalised across the board. Wayne and Stokes have both led a lap, which you get a bonus point here for in this series, but neither of them took pole. Neither of them are going to get the hard charger award. They might get the lead lap without any damage award, but that's not for, we can't work that out here now. So Stokes at the moment is on the ropes a little bit with Wayne on the march, and Stokes himself is looking to not lose any more places, but Trocky, McLaughlin and Compton are all queuing up behind. That's McLaughlin though into a half spin. He saves it and we stay green.
So many close calls tonight where we could have had cautions called, but the drivers managed to catch their vehicles and avoid big wrecks, to say the least, this evening. Thomas McLaughlin being the next driver to have a big save.
It was another big save. Meantime, at the front, the gap down below half a second now for Ryan Wayne. He's getting much closer to Frank Marchese now. Though Frank's in a bit of traffic, that might not be helping. Again, Stokes is under pressure. I do wonder if he's still got a bit of damage on that car at the moment, Stokes. He hasn't been in on the previous caution, so I guess not, but just not quite looking himself at the moment. He's looking a little bit vulnerable to the attacks of Jason Trocky in behind, although he has seen them off for the moment. They're approaching lap 200, these guys, after a long green flag run. Marchese and Wayne, here they are, fighting for the race lead.
Surprised that Wayne was able to burn up that rubber and get back up to Frank. It really was a shock to me that the gap came down so quickly. Frank has usually been one to get a gap and then maintain it once he's in the lead of the race. But the 39 of Ryan Wayne says, no can do'sville, baby doll. I'm going to hunt you down and chase you like a little piggy all the way to the checkered flag, because this is going to be it. I think Frank and Ryan Wayne, if they keep it green, will be the two heavy hitters going into the final stage of this race, or the final section of this race, I should call it.
Yep, fine, yeah. In my head, I've just sort of split this race into 550 laps, to be honest.
Right.
With the 5 tyre sets. It seems like a good way to do it. But a long run and then a caution, which obviously all runs are ended by, unless it's the end of the race, do often mean lots of guys coming in the pit lane all at the same time, because you really do take a lot out of your tyres in a long run of lots of laps actually happening under green. You might have a long stint in this race, but not actually that many under green. Certainly we experienced that a little bit early on, but these tyres will be taking a beating from this sort of run at the moment. And even the guys who pitted most recently, likes of Brad Compton, although not for tyres, the most recent pit stop for tyres was for Jackson Albright, who's only just in front of Thomas Stokes at the moment. Even he is nearly a second a lap down on his best lap times right now. That's the fastest 5. On the averages, we're just below mid-19s. At the very best, we can do an 18.6 round here. So then that sort of time loss on a short track just shows you the tyre wear is definitely a factor here. We've just not seen much of it yet.
Fastest 5 drivers. I wanted to also see the top 5 biggest movers. There it is. It'll be Frank, Albright, Chalky, Millette, and McLaughlin for the biggest 5 movers so far.
And you'll notice none of the big 4 championship contenders, although that's certainly down to 3 with Todd Slauson out of the race now. You can see none of those guys featuring in that biggest movers. The top of the table for that award gets a bonus point at the end of the day. So there you go. Over 200 laps complete now tonight, by the way. We're less than 50 laps away from the finish. Jackson Albright under pressure here from Thomas Stokes, as you can see, but also we've got a battle for the race lead. Frank Marchese is seeing Ryan Wayne get closer and closer and closer, but he's not fully challenged for the race lead just yet. He's just putting the pressure on for now.
And I wonder if sitting back behind Frank is going to damage his tires. You know, he's been sitting back. He's 10 laps fresher, but sitting behind the dirty air, scrubbing the tires a little bit in your pursuit of getting up ahead could potentially ruin your run late in the stage. As I said earlier, the only one who can make it on fuel to the end is going to be Jackson Albright in 4th position. But here comes Frank and Ryan Wayne's attack coming across the stripe.
Ryan Wayne looking for what would be a crucial race victory in the story of this championship. He gets to the inside of Frank Marchese here. It's going to take quite a while, this pass. Passes round here generally do, but he's at least there. That's the hard part, getting alongside initially. But no, Marchese fights back on the outside and keeps his lead.
Good looking call there from Frank to stay ahead in the lead. Thomas Stokes and Albright are against the walls themselves as they chase each other through the field. They have some lap traffic to contend with, but do so with style and grace. What about Brad Compton right now? He's sitting in the top 7, has Jason Trocchi right up ahead of him, and an open door presenting itself.
Oh, yep, there's a look down the inside. Oh, dear me, that was weaving around a little bit. Compton, though, does get to the inside here of Jason Trocchi, and he gets himself through by the looks of things on the way into the turn side by side in the background as well. I think there's a lap car involved, isn't it, with Trocchi. There's that Patrick Miller again. He's now 11th, by the way. He's only one position off of a top 10, and that would be a fantastic story, I think. He started this race 9 laps after everybody else, and somehow might be on his way to a top 10 finish. Wait and see. They're also going through was Brandon Biggs, by the way, who's back to 2 laps down again. About to go 3 down, but is still in the free pass position at least. Josh Wise no longer fighting with him for that free pass. He's out of the race at the moment, and that gives us just 12 in this field. I suppose that's helped us keep this race green here towards the finish. The final 40 laps coming up. These two will still have some slight concerns about fuel. Certainly Frank Marchese will. If this goes green all the way to the end, he might even have to make a green flag pit stop. Wayne will be having question marks about it as well. But for now, they're just fighting for the race lead as it is on the racetrack.
There's the estimated fuel tank in the bottom left-hand corner of your screen, but Wayne chases down Frank the Tank in pursuit of victory lane this very evening. Can he put it all together? That's going to be the question that we're all biting to hear about. Frank opens the door on exit of turn 2, and now that'll be a presented option for the number 39 of Ryan Wayne. He doesn't hit the loud pedal just in the nick of time. I think he's trying to conserve those tires for later on in this stage.
Well, that's the problem here, is that they would have started out probably thinking this is going to be another short green flag run. It's ended up being a very long one. So it's a case of what do they have left at this stage with only 37 laps to go here. This is a remarkable end to this race here. After a day of caution after caution after caution, we're seeing a green flag run like we've not had before tonight, coming to the end of the day. Remarkable stuff here in the American Sim Racer O'Reilly Series tonight. Ryan Wayne putting the pressure on Frank Marchese. Jason McCook watching on from 3rd there as well. One of these 3, one of the big championship contenders here, who's currently, as it runs, 3 points behind Thomas Stokes in the championship lead. He could make it just 2 if he were to get past Frank Marchese here. He turns low off of 4, down to the inside. Ryan Wayne looks for the pass for this race lead here. He's alongside, but Frank Marchese is fighting back well on that outside line.
And if you're chasing McCook, what are you thinking at this point in time? You know that the clock is ticking, and you've only got a few opportunities left to make your move. Are you waiting for your perfect moment
caution
to strike? And caution comes out. It looks like Millette and Stokes come together.
Wow. The championship leader, Thomas Stokes, involved in this caution. Now then, he's just spun on his own. We saw that earlier. Now, does Millett come through and hit him? Whoa, he turns the other way, just Stokes. And Millett does come through and hit him. Does that do damage to Thomas Stokes? If so, how bad is it? Because that was definitely contact. Here, meantime, come all the contenders. He's not... Yeah, he needs to get on with it, Stokes, because he's the pit lane's not open for him yet. He needs to race around quickly and get to the pit lane very fast, as does Thomas McLaughlin, by the way. But the leaders are in. Marchese leads them down pit lane for what will be the final set of tyres in this race. 32 laps to go. It's a good job they've let one down there on the pit lane ready for the end of this race, because they need it at this stage. But they do not have any more to go to. Who's going to make it out first? Will it be Marchese in front of Wayne as he runs past? Yes, it will. Comfortably, in fact. And Wayne stops a little bit longer. He's behind Jason McCook, who's jumped him. Jackson Albright is next, followed by Jason Trocchi, sorry. Thomas Stokes only spent 9 seconds in the pit lane. Might have only been doing repairs there. Brad Compton certainly is doing repairs as well as Thomas McLaughlin, who comes in a lap later than everybody else. So Frank Marchese maintains his lead, but he's got a short amount of time to go now until the end of this race.
What a crazy change towards the end of this race, folks. With just a handful of laps remaining, well, I guess more than a handful of laps, we have just about 30 by the time we go green. The drivers come in for their pit stops. I didn't think Albright needed to come in, but I guess take advantage with the caution. If you have the tires, use them up. He was safe to go to the very end, but that caution kind of ruined that strategy for him.
I don't think they would have minded that caution too much. I mean, it would have been a long run to the end, and the tyres wouldn't have been enjoying it too much. A lot of the drivers, by the way, who are still in the race laps down have stayed out there and taken the wave by. See Burns taking the last of the wave bys there, although he's still over 20 laps down. Nevertheless, there's another lap. So it's 8 on the lead lap here. Not everybody undamaged and uninterrupted coming to this point in the race, but there's less than 30 laps to go, and it's going to be a dash for the win here tonight. Green flag waves again. Marchese leads them into turn 1. McCook not able to hang it round the outside that time. Has to tuck back into second. Albright hits the wall, and Ryan Wayne's able to hold on to third place. And there goes Jason Trocchi down the inside, looking to pass Jackson Albright as well.
Albright made a small mistake, and that opened the door for Trocchi to take advantage. But now Albright was able to recover, and can he chase down Wayne, McCook, and Marchese for the lead of this race? I have all my eggs in one basket, and it's got Albright's name written on it tonight.
Don't forget, with less than 30 laps to go, a fully green flag run is less than 10 minutes. So it is a real short dash to the end, even though it doesn't look like it right now. This is quite a short dash to the finish. And so that's important for the likes of Stokes and Wayne as well. Stokes is at the back of the lead lap, by the way, right now, in 8th place. He's now getting past Brad Compton again, at least. And that it really maybe puts paid to Compton's championship chances, but we'll wait and see on that front, considering there might even be a change of lead if it stays as it is. Tom Stokes at least moves up to 7th. If Ryan Wayne were to win from here, he would tie up the championship with Stokes going into the final race of the season.
Brad Compton and Stokes going wheel to wheel as well, further down the order than Stokes would like to be, but still trying to challenge for positions. Brad Compton up the road, but just narrowly. Jason Trocchi also under threat from Thomas McLaughlin, currently the number 81, looking to open up the inside line. 23 laps left to go. Now that the math has inverted itself, it's easy to do for at least me.
I've always put it up towards the end of the race as we start to count them down rather than counting up. It's been a long test of endurance tonight, that's for sure. A difficult race for everybody. But for those who have survived and they've bought themselves a ticket to the finale, I'm going to try and make it count now. Stokes down in 8th place gives Wayne the chance to actually take the championship lead tonight if he were to go on and win. If Stokes is in 8th and Wayne takes victory, then he would take the championship lead. Look at that. Stokes has led 75 laps tonight. That is nearly a third of the laps in total. But it's been really since half distance, as you can see there, that big drop-off just on lap 114, which I think is actually a note put through there. That's where it started to go wrong for Stokes, and he's never really returned even to the top 5 for very long since then.
And 20 laps left to go. That'll be a quick dash to the checkered flag. Frank the Tank is going to be happy about this one if it goes his way to the checkered flag. Jason McCook obviously trying to ruin that thrill for Frank tonight. And Ryan Wayne, again, what a roller coaster ride he's been on. Low of P13. Let us for only 11 laps, but finds himself back in a podium position.
Yep. But he's secured that bonus point for leading 11 laps, and that's the most important thing. He'll be pleased there's no bonus for the most laps leg, because I think that would be going the way of Stokes at the moment. With 75. We saw on that graphic earlier, half of the field, exactly half of the drivers who started this race have led at least a lap tonight. There's the fastest five. You can see we're back into the 18s in terms of a fast lap time. The top five are the fastest five at the moment, apart from Jason Trockey, who's not in there at the moment, although that will keep changing. Brandon Biggs and Brad Compton further down have gotten into it this time. As I say, it's just going to keep changing and changing and changing. And caution. It's not quite going to run to the end like... Oh, and Marchese's got into it. That's unbelievable. Marchese there is into the 71 of Stokes, who's gone off. And they will both have damage. This will damage Stokes' championship aspirations, and it will kill Frank Marchese's race-winning aspirations. This is an unbelievable moment. Marchese cruising. He sees the caution come out. Will no doubt be not too pleased about it, but Stokes is trying to get out the way. In doing so, gets right in the way. And Frank Marchese's luckless few weeks continues.
I am just absolutely speechless. Frank just could not catch a break with 15 laps left to go. What an incident to take place. And I'm sure his jaw is on the floor just as much as mine is.
I suppose there might be a few more things on the floor as well once he's finished throwing stuff around. That is a real sickener, that one, for Marchese. He's come in along with Compton, who I can't believe is still damaged. He must have had about 10 minutes that he's done in about 70 25-second intervals. See how long Marchese's going to be in there for. Can he fight back from this? Oh, he'd be impressed if he could, but the chances are stacked steeply against him. Thomas Stokes is back out there again, but he is a lap down now. So is rather stuck, really, with Biggs fighting for 8th place. And that, again, gives Ryan Wayne the chance to take the championship lead. And, of course, it takes the chance of a bonus point away for Stokes. If you finish on the lead lap in this series and you're undamaged, you've got a bonus point. But it's hard for us to know who's actually undamaged and on the lead lap, so we don't really comment on it too much. But if you're not even on the lead lap at all, then Stokes doesn't have a chance to get it at all. Marchese is going to be on the lead lap, restarting in 6th, but you'd imagine it's going to be super difficult for him to get back from there.
What a mountain to climb for Frank. Another incident gone wrong for him this week. Super sad to see. But he's going to resume the back battle in 6th position, thankfully, and be able to fight when we go green.
He is going to fight on. Back to green flag racing we go. Just about getting into position in time with 12 laps to go. These are the real short dashes to the end here. And it's Chaser McCook who takes the lead off of turn 2. Ryan Wayne under a bit of pressure here with the inside line occupied by Jackson Albright and then potentially by Jason Trockey just after that as well. There could be a bit of trouble here for Wayne as he tries to gain as many points as he possibly can on Stokes. He's on the outside though. That should be a good run. Can he get clear? He can't quite. Albright still challenging, and this is only helping Chaser McCook with 10 laps to go.
Yeah, this is really only helping Chasen McCook, but Frank also throwing his elbows out with Albright currently trying to get up to the podium once more. 10 laps remaining. Your guess is as good as mine as who's going to come out on top this evening.
Indeed. Casey up to 3rd here. Surely he can't do this. Surely he can't come back from that incident and win here. Marchese on the outside, he's struggling here with Albright. He's really leaning on him there. Round the outside for Marchese. Should be able to get clear now off of 4, but his pass is delaying him severely. I think the best he can hope for is this 3rd position taken away from Jackson Albright.
Oh, a little bit of door banging between drivers, but no love lost between the camo to 88 of Albright and Frank Marchese. 8 laps left to go. Again, it's going to be a quick dash to the line. Frank finds himself on the podium once again.
He's back in the top 3. He needs a big battle between the leaders, though, to get involved with that race for the victory, though. After the damage he suffered just a few laps ago. 6 to go. And Ryan Wayne is putting the pressure on Chaser McCook here. At the moment, I believe he's tied up the championship with Stokes. He's potentially already got the championship lead here. But he can make sure of it here with a pass on Chaser McCook in the final 5 laps. As we cross the line this time round, by the way, any caution would trigger the first green-white checkered of the night.
Very good point to point out. Yes, the green-white checkers, we do have 3 of them available for the drivers to consume should we fall into that period, but the drivers haven't really used them up in the truck series. I don't expect them to burn them up here tonight. We're going to keep it green and clean as mostly for the American Sim Racer O'Reilly Series Championship. 4 laps left to go, 3 when the leader crosses the line.
Is Ryan Wayne going to risk it all for a victory here? He's not taken too many, 2 victories compared to Thomas Stokes' 3. They're the ones who've been really on top in this championship, and they're the ones who've been on top in the winning stakes as well here. 2.5 to go, and he's just putting the pressure on through every turn right now, as is Frank Marchese, who, if he wants to win, needs to wait for Wayne to get alongside McCook and then try and take them both. But that's looking difficult right now because Wayne's hesitance to actually make a move here is preventing both he and Marchese from taking the victory, but that's not a very good run from McCook there. Off of turn 2 on the penultimate lap. He's invited pressure upon himself. He goes up high through turn 4. He comes across on Wayne. He smashes into the inside wall. The white flag was already waving. We're still green here. Is Ryan Wayne going to take a famous victory here at Kern County Raceway Park? Marchese's going to give it his all. He's had this snatched away from him cruelly tonight, but Ryan Wayne is going to take the points lead into Homestead Miami Speedway with a victory in the American Sim Racer O'Reilly Series race at Kern County Raceway Park tonight. Chaser McCook lies stranded on the run down towards turn 1 after the contact he made with the eventual race winner. What an extraordinary finish to this race.
Wow. Oh, wow. What a tremendous finish to this event. Ryan Wayne taking away the victory at the end of the day. Go ahead and burn it down, Wayne.
That was unbelievable. I'll have another look at the incident itself between McCook and Wayne, by the way, before we chat to the drivers here tonight, because that is the one that's going to define this race here. And I think McCook will be very unhappy with the way that it's actually panned out there. He's the one who goes up high. He slides. Wayne, for me, stays on his line. I don't think McCook will agree. It's a big hit, though. Massive hit. And Albright has to go low, and they all do, actually, to avoid. Well, let's have a look at the race results, shall we, and dissect what's been an extraordinary 250 laps here from Kern County Raceway Park tonight. Ryan Wayne takes the points lead with victory tonight ahead of Frank Marchese, who will feel that should have been his. Jackson Albright also joins them on the podium. Jason Trocchi and Thomas McLaughlin round out the top 5 in front of Brad Compton. Jason McCook will be still credited with 7th place. Thomas Stokes loses the points lead in 8th, with Brandon Biggs and Kevin Page then running out the top 10. Patrick Miller 11th out of James Burns, the last of the finishers. Then Josh Wise, John Russo, Jackson Pohl, Kevin Nerat and Todd Slawson and Jamel Love all retired from this race. Let's have a chat, shall we, to Ryan Wayne, our race victor tonight here from Kern County. Ryan, welcome in. Good to have you with us. Congratulations. I mean, tell us about that last lap there and that fight between yourself and Chaser McCook.
Yeah, I hate how that all went down. I honestly thought I got into him there, but I mean, it looked like from my vantage point, it looked like he kind of came down the tracks just a little bit, and we just collided and made contact. It's very unfortunate what happened right there at the end, because I thought it was going to be a really good battle right there. Possibly between 3 cars, between Chase and Frank and I, because I felt like we were the 3 cars running up front there for the last 75 laps. It's just unfortunate how that happened, but all in all, a good way to get win number 3 on the season. I think this will be big for the points as well. I think we were 6 points behind Thomas coming into this race, and I think we finished 7 spots ahead of him, so I think we're going to be in a good spot heading into next week's finale at Homestead.
Yeah, by my maths, you'll be ahead of him by at least 1 point, maybe more. But obviously we have to sort out all the other stuff. Brad Compton and Todd Slauson will slip them both more than 10 points behind going into the final, which might just be a 2-horse race now between the two of you. But I want to go back to what you were planning really to try and get past Chase and McCook. Obviously, as you say, you hate the way that actually ended, and obviously that wasn't in the plan. But what was the plan of action for actually trying to pass Chase and McCook? Because I've got to say, he did look pretty comfortable at the front as you were running.
Yeah, my whole plan was to try to surprise him going into turn number one, try to get to his inside. I know when I was battling Frank Marchese earlier, I was having a hard time keeping the car on the bottom and making passes, because I did notice once the field got spread out, it was pretty difficult to make passes. But my whole goal was to try to get to the inside, get side by side with him going down the backstretch, and then maybe we could stay side by side going to 3 or 4 for a photo finish. That was the whole goal right there, and I hate that it didn't work out like that.
Good luck for the obviously finale coming up in next week's time. Look forward to seeing you there at Homestead. But for now, Ryan, thanks for chatting to us tonight, and congratulations on the race victory.
Absolutely, thank you.
Thanks so much, Ryan Wayne, the victor tonight at Kern County Raceway Park here tonight. Frank Marchese finishes in second place there as well, getting back to second on that final restart in the end. Frank, welcome in. Good to have you with us. How are you feeling at the end of that race? A race you were leading until the last caution of the day, which unfortunately you were caught up in eventually. Just tell us how you're feeling at the end of that one.
Just numb. I mean, I don't even know what to say. I couldn't tell you a thing about the final 10 laps of that. I knew I had a set of tires. I was getting oil temp warnings for the final, like 7 laps or so, and I'm just numb. I have no idea what happened there.
I mean, it must be difficult to think about obviously now, but I mean, you really were getting quite close towards the end of that race to Wayne and McCook there, and obviously I thought the incident that they eventually had off of 4 might just give you the chance to slip back through and take the race victory back, but what were you thinking about in those final 10 laps there in terms of actually trying to do something, trying to come back and take the race victory there? What was the plan, or were you just sort of driving around to the finish?
Just driving at that point. That's really, I mean, I knew the only thing that was keeping us, I had like 2 minutes of damage off of that. And I mean, after something like that happens, something as inexplicable as that happens, I mean, you're just kind of driving at that point. You're just kind of doing what you just kind of instinctually do, and tried my best, got up as high as I could, still fell second place though in a championship that I've struggled in more so than Tuesday night. Just still a good result, but it's hard to feel like you couldn't have had one more.
Well, absolutely. Thanks for chatting to us, Frank, again in the difficult circumstances. And we look forward to seeing you again next week.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Thanks very much. Frank Marchese, who's had a difficult week or so in the ASR. Bad luck, that's for sure. Jackson Albright finishes in third place tonight and joins us now as well. Jackson, welcome in. Good to have you with us as well. How was that race for you? Because at one stage it looked like you had the best car in the field and you were leading for quite a while, and that faded away. Sorry, in the last 100 laps a little bit. But how do you feel about finishing third tonight?
Yeah, I definitely think I'm lucky to have finished third. I was definitely first half of the race. I felt like I had the best car, but it's just so hard to pass there. Then I think in that second lap, I just pushed my car too hard and ended up burning up my right front.
I mean, how difficult was that to manage here today? Because of the circuit that it is, I've never seen Kern County before, I must admit, and it seemed to be that you were sort of maybe driving hardest into the turns out of everybody. I mean, how hard was it to sort of get lap speed around here and take care of that front right tire?
Yeah, I mean, this is the first time I've raced at Kern County, so I had very little practice. But there was a couple times where I locked it up. I think I ended up hitting Truckee, but I was locked up. But yeah, it's a very, very tough track.
Well, congrats on getting to third here tonight, Jackson, and thanks for chatting to us as well at the end.
Yep, thank you.
Thanks very much. That is Jackson Albright as well. Finishes in third place tonight. That's just about it for us here tonight. I mean, great to have you on the O'Reilly Series here tonight, Sega, and picked a good night to come in for. A long night and a bit of a night of endurance, that's for sure. But an entertaining night of racing, no doubt. And it sets up a brilliant finale coming in next week with the championship lead changing hands at the penultimate round of the season.
It's going to be an exciting finale at Homestead, Miami, across both series coming up next week. Don't go anywhere, folks. On Motormouth Broadcasting, you'll find the American Sim Racers Esports League and Broadcasting here with myself and Ewan O'Leary.
Yep, absolutely. We'll come back next week to see if Dave Allen can close out the Truck Series. 9 points in front of Frank Marchese in a 2-horse race there. Ryan Wayne taking the championship lead away tonight from Thomas Stokes. We've just had the points in, by the way. 2 points it will be officially Brad Compton, the only other contender. 7 points adrift going into the final race of the season. So make sure you join us on Tuesday and Thursday on Motormouth Broadcasting, because it is going to be a great finale. I've been Ewan O'Leary alongside Sega Baxter here tonight on Motormouth Broadcasting. We'll see you again next week for the finale of the American Sim Racer Truck and O'Reilly Series from Homestead, Miami Speedway. I hope to see you then. Until then, it's goodbye for now.